I'm Chad Sparks in the community, and today we are at Calvert, Johnson, and Froelich Memorial Home in the heart of El Paso, right in the heart of this community. And with me today is someone who espouses all things community, and he's casting a pretty bright light on El Paso-Gridley, I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Yes.
Okay, and surrounding communities in the area. This is Declan Duley. Declan, welcome to In the Community.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
Oh, man, we're excited. We've been talking about this for some time, right? We've been trying to plan this, but it's hard when we have a man of your stature trying to get you in front of the camera.
I guess.
You're humble, and it is a pleasure. We are going to be talking to Declan about a lot of things today. We're going to kind of unpack your history. We're going to talk about some of your accomplishments. Many people might be wondering, why in the world are these two guys decked out in orange? And there's a story behind this. Of course, the story is kind of revealed when they see your sweatshirt, but we're going to we'll share that for the last part of it.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. So we're decked in orange for a reason, and we will get to that. But so much to talk about today, and especially with Declan's accomplishments. Now, if you're in the communities of El Paso or Gridley or surrounding area, likely you know this young man. I hope I'm saying this correctly. You, Declan, are the #1 ranked punter in the state of Illinois.
Yes.
That's a big thing. You handle it so well. Like, I'm expecting you to jump up anytime and start cheering, but you're just humble. You're saying, yeah, I am.
Of course. That's how I was raised. I was raised to not shed the light on myself, but shed the light on the others that helped me get to where I'm at.
You're top 20 punters in the nation. That's the ranking that I saw.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
So, Declan, you were all conference, obviously, punter. Were you all state?
I was all-state honorable mention.
Well done. Okay. And again, with all the high schools and all the high school football programs in the area, being honorable mention from El Paso-Gridley is something to be very proud of. That's a great accomplishment.
Yes.
All right. You have a lot of athletic success and prowess. We'll be talking about that. You obviously played football at an early age. When did you begin? Do you even remember?
Freshman year.
Did you play football before then? Or?
Nope.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not. I started kicking and punting. I didn't start punting till sophomore year.
So this is a message to every young athlete who says, you know, I want to be like this guy. And they say, well, I've never picked up a football in my life. You're giving young athletes hope, Declan, because you picked up a football and started punting when you were a freshman?
Yes.
Okay. The experience. What was it like when you first started? Were you saying, this is exactly where I want to be, what I want to be doing?
Not at all.
Of course you were going to answer this way.
Freshman year, I thought about quitting. After the season, I kind of thought to myself, is this really what I want to do? Like, I didn't at the moment see myself getting any farther than where I was at. And I was really thinking about quitting after like sophomore year. But then I started to get ranked. I started to get more training, professional training, and I understood what my potential was.
You know, in being an athlete, and you know this, Declan, being an athlete, there's a lot of commitment, certainly a lot of hurdles, and a lot of challenges. We're going to talk about some of those that you endured. But perhaps one of the biggest challenges was just that. You come in your freshman year, you're kicking, maybe not loving it as much as you thought you would. And as a message to young athletes, maybe if you're struggling at the beginning, following your path, you would say, don't give up.
Yes.
Just keep going. Okay. Well, and I've got a lot of questions here that I want to ask. Obviously, you're close with your family. The community knows you well. I mean, it's not often when we have a nationally acclaimed athlete who's starting to make a lot of moves in the ranking system throughout high school sports. Tell me about your family and their involvement in getting you into football. I'm assuming you come from a sports family.
Yes. So I grew up watching NFL, like with my dad, and I mean, I had dreams of playing in the NFL when I was younger. Just playing out in the yard, just throwing a football around with my dad, my friends, whoever. And so, I mean, football's been a part of my life. I've just never actually played football. Football was something that my mother said she would never let me play. And
thank you, Mom, for relenting. We're grateful.
And so, they were very supportive from the very start, and just kept that support throughout, and never told me that I needed to maybe think about going other ways. They've only ever said that I can achieve what I can go to the NFL. They've only ever told me that. They never said that I can't.
Well, okay, so Declan, these are your words. You brought this up. You knew we had to go here. So you said you're an NFL guy, and obviously we're in the heart of Illinois. I have to assume, and this is dangerous for me, are you a Bears fan, or is
No.
it? Boy, you said that definitively. Okay, so we're sorry, Bears fans. Who's your NFL team?
I might get a lot of backlash for this, but I'm a Patriots fan.
No, we're okay with that. Yeah, we're okay. And there are many people that will not be okay with this, but do not hold his fandom against him. This is a young man who probably grew up following Tom Brady and fell in love with everything that he accomplished.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're not here to talk about Tom Brady, although we can do that in another segment. We're here to talk about Declan Duley. So, Patriots fan, welcome. All right, good. So we've covered your history. Mom and Dad kind of encouraged you. Obviously, Dad, I'm assuming, is a big football fan too. Maybe
Yes.
Mom as well. Good. So you get to high school, and when you get to high school, you start to think, maybe I do want to play. Were you always a punter? Were you always a kicker?
No. Because I played soccer, I was recruited by the football coach, basically, or I guess recruited. And he basically asked me, "Hey, we need a kicker. You have a strong leg. Why don't you try it out?" And so I said okay, and then we went from there. And so that's how that started.
Longest field goal ever recorded. Tell me all about it. How long was it? We talked about this. You said you did one in practice, or maybe
Yes.
two in practice. Let's start there. Longest field goal in practice.
So in practice, I think it was actually towards the end of this season here, going into playoffs, going into our last week, I hit 2 60-yarders in a row.
You do realize you're flirting with the NFL record there. I mean, what is it, is it 64 in the NFL?
66.
66 now. Okay, and I don't remember who did that. I know it's
Justin Tucker.
Of course, Justin Tucker would have done it, right?
Yes.
Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so yes, that's good company to be in. So you nailed 2 60-yarders in practice. Now let's talk about gameplay. Longest
52.
52 yards in gameplay.
Yes.
All right. Well, and if you're wondering if that's good, it's good. In fact, it's great, and that's what's going to lead us to where we're going. Going back to our orange, right? We did this together. So we had to talk about your field goals. Tell me about your punting, because again, you don't just kick, you punt. And I have a daughter who's trying to learn football, and she said, "Dad, what's the difference?" And I'm thinking, well, Declan Duley could teach us a lot about punting and kicking. Longest punt ever recorded.
Oh. In a game, 64.
That's a big punt. That is a big punt. You're having tremendous success. You're making field goals. You're kicking long punts. People are starting to take notice. Obviously, your mother and father, who you love dearly, very instrumental in your upbringing, bringing you through to this very place where you're at. They're watching this happen. When do the offers start to come in? How old were you?
It was this summer.
This summer.
It was
okay.
just this summer. At the end of my junior year, coming into this senior year, I was going to a bunch of different camps over the summer, college camps, different mega camps, whatnot. Of course, trying to get offers, because at the time I had none. And so then I had my first offer from Troy back at the end of June. Or beginning of June.
And that was going to be my question, because again, it's interesting. Again, every young athlete dreams of getting that first offer. What was your reaction?
I'm pretty sure I cried.
We're going to say, well, your mom or your dad could probably confirm that. We'll stick to that you cried, and that's a great response. After Troy, we're assuming there were more offers.
Illinois.
So, folks, we've been holding this back, and it's the worst surprise ever kept. We blew the surprise when we first sat down. So, Declan, there's so many reasons why you're here today, but it's rare that, and again, El Paso-Gridley is not a big school.
No.
So it's rare that someone of a school this size would receive an offer to the University of Illinois, but you accepted.
Yes.
And you are not only did you accept, you're leaving for the University of Illinois as an early enrollee. When?
January 11th.
That's why we had to get this done quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, I could have come to Champaign-Urbana to do this, but then we wouldn't have had the backdrop of Calvert, Johnson, and Froelich Memorial Home. So this is exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have to be excited. So my question is, when you were playing football, playing high school football, and of course your career's over now. Did you ever have a dream or an aspiration of playing for a certain school? I'm hoping you say the University of Illinois, but maybe there was another school that you're hoping to play for.
There really wasn't a specific school when I started. When I first realized that I could play in college, it was more so just I just wanted to play in college. It could be D3, it could be NAIA, it could be Power 5. At the time, I didn't know, and at the time, I didn't care. I just wanted to play in college, and that was the original dream, and that was the original dream and goal. And I mean, I could humbly say that I've exceeded my goal.
Yeah, well done. And I'm gonna say it for you, so you don't even have to. Well done, my friend, because you have. I mean, this is a major benchmark and pinnacle, and you've done that. And congratulations. So, Declan, it's no surprise I own this orange blazer. I reserved it for you today, so I could wear this as kind of your announcement party. Bill Johnson, who manages and runs this funeral home at all of our Calvert, Johnson, and Froelich properties and Calvert and Johnson properties. He's the one, obviously you know Bill, and Bill brought out all of this paraphernalia because Bill, too, is a University of Illinois fan. So we had to pull this out. This is literally in his office. We didn't have to try. He did this in like 2 minutes. So, and then we also have a doorstop down here.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, we brought everything. Well, he brought everything, and so I just brought the orange blazer. But this was the big announcement. We could not be more excited for you. You're leaving next week for the University of Illinois. So you're going there as an early enrollee. So. Yes. Are you excited about this? Is there a trepidation? Yes.
Oh, no, I'm very excited to do this.
Well, let me ask you about this because, Declan, this I know is an important topic. And you mentioned you played soccer before football, but before soccer, there was something else.
Yes, there was.
I need you to share this story because, and I will admit, I've watched a few videos. I kind of know the backstory, but our viewers might not. And this story is truly an amazing story. You weren't always a soccer player and you weren't always a football player, but you were a swimmer.
Yes.
Share the story.
So I have been, from age 2 to 10, I swam. That was my sport. I lived swimming. We all thought I was going to go to college for swimming. That was my thing. I was known for that. Even here, people will tell me like you're supposed to be a swimmer, and I just loved it. I grew up watching guys like Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, all those guys, and then watching the Olympics. It's still my favorite sport to watch in the Olympics. It's just very exciting, in my opinion. But yes, so I swam nonstop all year round. Summer teams, travel teams, rec teams, whatnot, didn't matter. I was swimming. And so leading up to, it was, I think, 5th grade. Yes, It was 5th grade. Halfway through, it was the very beginning of 2015, Jake Miller committed suicide. And he was my first coach. He was my first mentor, essentially.
And was he from El Paso?
Yes.
Yes. Which makes this even more special and more endearing. That Jake was a local guy and clearly a very, very gifted athlete and coach that came from El Paso. Yes. And that makes this story even more appealing.
Yes. And so he was going to Louisville for swimming. Okay. And then he was also set for the 2016 Olympic trials. Wow. So he was very good at what he did. He had 4-time state champion. He still has records up on the U-High board. I remember looking at those every day at practice.
So Jake gave you a benchmark to shoot for as well, which is great. Yeah, it's always good for a coach to do that.
Absolutely. And so I guess I kind of skipped ahead there. But yeah, so that happened, and I decided to step away. I decided to step away from swimming, and that's when I picked up soccer. Okay. So I played soccer for so long there, and then freshman year of high school, I chose to swim again. Not just because I wanted to, but because it was for the same team Jake swam for, the same coach Jake swam for, and it was the same pool. And so everything that he swam for is what I was swimming for.
And that was what I was going to ask, because Declan, it sounds like this was, in a way, maybe even a kind of a tribute to Jake, and a way to honor him of certainly what you were close to him.
Absolutely.
So, and with that came a battle that you battled with, I think, during this, and talk about that.
I mean, you're talking like mental health
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yes, I was like, that took a huge toll on me, and I know others as well. But I knew that with him, I knew he was watching down on me and everything I did. And he was proud of what I was able to accomplish, and especially with swimming.
Yeah.
Especially with swimming, being able to come back and swim, it was very emotional for my mom and my coach, watching me get in that pool on my first meet,
I'm sure,
alone, just freshman year, because they could see Jake, and then of course, but it's me, and so I swam for him, and I told I guess I'm remembering now is when I did quit back in 5th grade after junior nationals. I said, if I ever come back to swimming, I'm swimming for Jake. That's the only reason why. And I did just that.
And it's an amazing thing for a young man of your stature and of your accomplishments to look at this and say, I realized that I was going through, it was a disturbing time. It was a difficult time for you. And to lose your mentor, and I think, as one source might have said, a really close friend.
Yes.
And you were dealing with this from a mental health standpoint, and you said, now I want to help people who are dealing with mental health issues. And
absolutely.
When Declan, when we come in and do in the community videos, so often there's a backstory. So often there's, we're talking about something that's in the forefront, and we have orange to prove this, right?
Yes.
We're shining brightly in front of the camera. But the backstory is that this is a young man that I'm sitting next to who dealt with many things that young people deal with on a daily basis. And you're here to say, I want to help those in my community.
Yes.
And I think that's something that's going to be taken not only from El Paso, Gridley, surrounding area, to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, where you can take your expertise and your experience and you can share this with other athletes in similar situations. That's a great thing to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Declan, I couldn't be more proud of you. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to benefit from seeing this and knowing if they're struggling, if they're suffering with any type of mental illness or any type of depression, there's an advocate, there's someone here who's overcome it. Wasn't easy,
no,
but you were able to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it truly is a remarkable thing to be able to see the success that comes from that. All right, we're dying to know. Obviously, you want to play in the NFL.
Yes.
Obviously, you would like to play for the New England Patriots. Obviously, Bill Belichick would be your perfect coach.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair, and I think that would be the right thing to look for. I mean, he's maybe the greatest coach of all time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you've got to pick a major. Now, you're a scholar athlete. You 3.0 plus GPA. You're going to the University of Illinois, one of the finest academic institutions. They didn't pay me to say this. One of the finest academic institutions in the nation. What are you going to major in?
Right now, I want to major in kinesiology.
Oh, wow. Well, that came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Tell us why.
Something I picked up in recent years is just working out, fitness in general, and I eventually want to open up my own gym.
Okay.
That was something I've been thinking about for quite some time now. Is that once I'm finished athletically, whether that be right after college or say I go to the NFL, after the NFL, I open up a gym.
Can we assume that will be literally right here in El Paso, Illinois, next to Calvert, Johnson, and Froelich Memorial Home?
Probably not.
We can only hope. We can only hope.
Yes.
Well, if you make this big enough, we can take all of these gyms and we can open one in El Paso as a branch of the main. See, there you go. We're always thinking about the community. We'll put one in Gridley as well. All right. So kinesiology, great major, great job. I love it. You're shooting high. With regards to your career at the University of Illinois, obviously they gave you an offer. You met Coach Bielema, and I'm assuming he brought his posse of coaches in to talk to you. What did they tell you? What did they share with you when they met with you regarding your future there at the University of Illinois?
I mean, nothing but great things.
I would expect nothing less.
Of course. Because we met with Coach Bielema before the Virginia game. It was before the game.
Okay.
Is when he offered me. And so that alone kind of tells me that he thinks I'm important. Like he thinks I'm something he needs, and so that alone tells me that, I mean, I'm wanted. Like this is where I'm not gonna feel left out, I guess. I guess it's hard to word it.
You put it perfectly, and I'm gonna reiterate this. Declan, you're wanted and you're important. So yeah, that's why you're here today, and that's why you are such a, as I said earlier, you've cast a light on this community. That's not hard to do. El Paso and Gridley and the surrounding communities, Lexington, Flanagan, all great communities. And in and of themselves, they shine brightly. But when young people like yourself, who's overcome incredible circumstances to get to this place, rife with success and prowess in the athletic field and the academic field, it's pretty exciting to have someone of your age coming in here and being able to share like you did. That's a good thing for us, and it's a good thing for the communities, and that's the reason we have you here today. So you did well, my friend. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Well, before we close, a couple things we have to address. First and foremost, we've talked about everything that has to do with academics and athletics, of course, your family upbringing, the fact that they're sports fans, and all the things that you dealt with, of which we're grateful for that you overcame them. The community itself has been great to you. You've obviously contributed to the community. I know you'll continue to do so. Even in Champaign-Urbana, under the lights of Memorial Stadium, when the defensive linemen for Ohio State are bearing down on you and you get that 55-yard punt off, I'm assuming you'll never forget El Paso and the communities
Absolutely not.
in which you're a perfect answer. Could not set that up more perfectly. Declan Duley, it has been a great honor having you here. As part of Calvert, Johnson, and Froelich Memorial Homes, we're all about family. We're all about community. You espouse both. You have a great family. Well done, Mom and Dad. You've done a great job with this young man. And with regards to the community, well done. You've supported us. You've supported this. And it's just such an honor and a pleasure to have a young man who represents so well sitting before us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Well, with that being said, stay tuned to our next episode of In the Community, and we certainly hope that you've enjoyed your time as much as we've enjoyed our time. Declan, it's been an honor. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you soon in the community.